Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Ordinary Extraordinary. And today we are here with Dan Hostetler. He's going to tell you everything about himself. And he is far away from us in another state in Texas, right, Dan?
That's right, Houston,
Yeah,
Texas.
yeah, Houston, Texas. So his video may be a little bit lagging, but his audio is fine. So Dan, could you tell us about who you are and what you do?
Sure. Well, my name is Dan Hostetler. I'm the executive director of a addiction treatment center called Above and Beyond Family Recovery Center. We are a free behavioral, outpatient, harm reduction, innovative addiction treatment center located in Chicago's West Side, in not a great area of town, but great for us. So I'm 68. I'm an alcoholic in recovery. So I still attend AA meetings, and I do this. So we've been open since 2016. For me, it's full time. I absolutely adore what I do.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Okay, so my next question then, how have you arrived at today, right? What have you gone through? What obstacles have you had, and how you have overcome those obstacles is my question.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Well, I would say an obstacle for me was privilege. You know, I'm a white old male, so I have this privilege. I grew up in a probably an upper middle class household. I had a lot of insulation of people that rescued me before my complete collapses and rock bottoms. I had enough resource and income and just all forms of privilege that I rarely had to experience, face down on the asphalt. I rarely had to get up on my own and kind of rehabilitate myself. So I would say that that was an obstacle. And when those things were removed from me, when I didn't have that anymore, and I had to face the consequences of my own actions, and I'm talking about primarily actions through alcoholism and selfism and a lot of narcissism and preoccupation with materialism and all that kind of stuff. And when I realized that that world was not real, that it ceased to have any power over me. I would say that I had a job where I earned a lot of money because I haven't really had a DUI. I've been married to the same wonderful good friend for 38 years. So I haven't experienced a divorce. My children are all still, we're on speaking terms. So I didn't experience any of those things, but I worked in a job where I just made a lot of money, so I was able to buy my way out of problems. And maybe that's not the typical thing that people see as an obstacle, but I see it as an obstacle. I think that people that have little resource or no resource many times have a better opportunity to experience recovery than those people that never have to actually experience direct contact with life. So I don't know if that's the kind of
Yeah. No, this is interesting because that's your perspective, and it may be unusual, but it's yours, and that's what I'm looking for. I want to know who you are, you know. Perfect. So my next question to you is, what makes your heart sing today?
Wow. You mean these days?
These days, yes.
Yeah. What makes my heart sing is going into work. I wouldn't even call it work. There's a lot of there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of activity, and I'm talking about Above and Beyond Family Recovery Center. So we're doing probably 50 intakes a week. We have over 100 people in the building every day we have 27 different process groups a week that we do. So tons of activities. And because of the fact that we don't charge for what we do, we end up with primarily homeless and chronic relapsers, people with no resources. These are people that are voiceless and they aren't represented. They don't have opportunities that other other places like ours. So when they come in, they're surprised by what they see. They're surprised by the kind of things that we do. But the big thing that we offer is humanity. So we talk to people. We listen to them. We let them finish their stories. We ask them questions. We pay attention to the kind of things that we do. We remember them. Everybody wears name tags. We need that because we have such an influx of people. So we're calling people by their names. We're asking them questions. They're not used to that. People demonstrating that kind of attention. So what comes out of that are just the most amazing stories of strength and hope. And so I get to experience this every day. And I see people kind of waking up to who they are and realizing their own potential and the fact that they are, or they have been all this time, navigators of their own destiny, which they don't see that. They see themselves as being victims. So the kind of things that we talk to them about, the kind of tools that we introduce them to, show them that these are easy things for them to realize. And as you watch them wake up, and this happens numerous times every day, wow, there's nothing like that in the world. Being in AA, many of the old timers complain about the fact that there's no newcomers. We don't get a lot of newcomers, and when we do, they come and they go kind of quickly. But we get a whole tide of newcomers every day. They come in every day, and a lot of them fall off. A lot of them we don't see again. But I think we leave an impression on them that they're important. They should be as important to themselves as they are to us. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to clock my time until I check out. I can't see myself doing much else that could be more rewarding than this for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. I got it. Yeah, it sounds like something worthwhile or more than that. And I do appreciate what you do. And I really enjoyed being there when I visited the center. And I wish, and I want more centers like this to open up. And I know you're working on creating a second location in even worse part of town. So I'm all for you. I'm praying that it happens for you guys and you keep growing and you keep making a difference. So my last question to you is, what would you say or suggest to those people who are struggling now, who are going through some kind of hardship or are lost on their way? What would you suggest to them?
Well, I would say that I would tell them not to give up. I would tell them that their life is very precious. I would tell them that sometimes all of us, including myself, including my staff, including the people that are friends and family, we fall into periods where we become so consumed with ourselves that we don't think about other people. So for a minute, think about the gifts that you have that you're depriving the rest of us of. Think about somebody else and think about helping them a little bit. Think about flashing somebody a smile, or think about giving somebody a compliment. And sometimes if we can extricate ourselves from our own story and our own misery for just a few minutes to pay attention to somebody around us, in my opinion, that's where we start recovering. Johann Hari has said this, and I'm a real fan of his. He said this in a TED talk. And he said that the opposite of addiction is not sobriety, it's connection. And that's what we do at Above and Beyond, is we connect people together. So I would say anybody who feels that down, to connect with somebody, to make a telephone call. And if that telephone call doesn't work out the way you think it is, make another telephone call. And if that doesn't work out the way it should, then make another telephone call. And if the telephone calls aren't working for you, you're not getting anybody, get out of your apartment, or get out of the shelter that you're in and come down to Above and Beyond. That's one place you can go, but you can go many places where there are people. Go to the public library, go to a supermarket, and just say something nice to somebody and see what they say back. And it's very easy to establish connection. That's how we're built as human beings. We're built to connect. Go find a church. Ask them how you can connect or get into a small group or talk to somebody. There's always somebody to talk to in a church. I would say not to give up hope, because hope is really, those people that find themselves in difficulty are usually hopeless and we have a group on hope. So come down and see me at 2942 West Lake at Above and Beyond Family Recovery Center, and I'll give you kind of a free pass into our hope group. I'll allow you to be there as a guest. We can go in there together and we can show you all the different forms of hope and how to get it, how to recognize it in other people, how to build it, because it begins with hope. That turns into courage. Courage turns into action, and action turns into change. And the change that we're looking for is recovery. So it all begins with hope. And I can tell you for a fact, whether your brain lets you achieve, accept this or not, there is always hope. There's always the possibility that things can get better. So if your brain is not your friend at the moment, then it's going to be giving you false brain messages. And these might be that you're hopeless and that your life is not worth anything. Do not listen to your brain. It's not being your friend. Go out and talk to somebody else and see how that works for you. That's what I would recommend.
Got it. Got it. Well, this is an amazing piece of advice. Thank you very much. So I heard that the opposite of addiction is connection, and here for the grace of God, go I, right? So look at other people, help other people to get out of your misery, and you will see how your life will change.
That's right.
Dan, thank you very much for taking time out of helping your relatives and jumping in with such a short call. I appreciate you. Thank you for being, and I'll invite you again when you're more settled down, maybe like down the line. So we'll have a little more, talk about these vital topics in our lives. So thank you very much. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
I appreciate you too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right. Bye.